Million-dollar e-commerce funnel, exactly how you should do the research. Let's go. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. If you're brand new, think about clicking that subscribe button below. And what you can see right here is my private group, Funnel Hacker Pro. Just go to fhp.io. I can't wait to see you there. Okay, man, listen. Here's what a free plus shipping funnel should be. Okay, now I'm gonna give you a little bit of history. I'm gonna preface you just for a moment. Hang in there with me. We're gonna get to the good stuff in 1 second, but I want to kind of give you a history lesson. Recently, you see a lot of dudes doing Shopify. You see them talking about Amazon, yada, 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 e-commerce and whatnot, and all that shit's cool, right? But the original free plus shipping funnel had absolutely nothing to do with making money, right? So what people have done, and you're going to see that in a moment, but what people have done is they have taken the free plus shipping model and tried to turn it into a money-making thing so they could try to sell the bright, shiny object. Here's how you're going to make real money. But here's the thing, right? What I'm going to show you right now is going to give you a real business, number one, and it's going to give you longevity, and you only need 1 or 2 products. You don't need 1,000 products. And here's the kicker. You don't need Shopify, okay? So let me go ahead and try to get into this first. First of all, I know you hear it, and I know you don't want to do it, but you have to do it. So inside of my demographic right here, inside of my niche, I have the average age of somebody in the UK. Now, what I wanted to do, because I want to be able to market worldwide. So I wanted to make sure that my demographic would be somewhere close between the US, the UK, France, and everywhere else, right? The next thing I did was looked at the Field and Stream Media Kit. Just go to Your Niches magazine and ask them for a media kit, and this will give you your median income, how much money they have, the age bracket, what they spend money on. It tells you a little bit of everything. Now, don't trust what they say about people buy $50 billion of shit from our magazine, because they're supposed to say that. But you can trust the demographic information. And so you see that my demo here and my demo here pretty much match up. 49% of the people are 50 plus, and they've got a couple of dollars. So this is good. If you do this, right, and you try to find out their major frustrations, and you ask your questions, what are their surface desires, right? What is it that they really want, right? So for a hunter, he wants to catch the big buck, right? That's his thing. I have this thing, man. We watch this thing called Meat Eater. If you don't watch it, you should watch it. That's a part of my demographic, so that was my excuse for wasting time watching it, but it was really cool. And the guy, every time that he would get ready to catch a buck, right, there's only 2 types of bucks. Bucks that I'm interested in, and bucks that I'm not interested in. And I'm interested in that buck. Right? I promise you, man, you got to watch this. When he whispered, he's like, I really want that buck, right? That is the surface desire of my avatar. What I mean by surface desire is, what is it that they want on the surface? I just want a buck. But there's something more than that, right? So is the secondary desire, is it, and this is the core desire, right? Is it status? Is it look at that buck that I caught, being able to brag to their friends? Is it more than that? Is it a connection to the wild? Is it a connection with being able to eat what you catch? That type of thing, right? What is it? And you need to get really deep down and find out exactly what that is. So let me give you a breakdown really quickly on what you should be doing. You guys remember this old board? Yeah, man, I'm back to like old school now. All right, so the first thing you should do is you need to identify the demographic, right? And this is just what I showed you. List demographic, their age, the gender, and the income, etc., right? We want to connect with that. The next thing we want to do is find out what their surface desires are. If you don't do this, dude, you're just blowing it, right? So we want to find out what their surface desires are. After we find out what their surface desires are, we also want to find out what is their frustration, what pisses them off. I can tell you now that we did a thing on the hunting niche, and we found out that soggy socks were big, right? That's something easy to fix too, right? But there's a big frustration with soggy, wet socks inside the hunting niche. So, and then what do they love about it, right? Let's put a little heart here. Boop. So what do they love about it? What do they hate about it? Okay? If you do this, you're going to be 99% ahead of everybody else out there trying to do e-commerce, right? Because you need to know how to write to your people, right? So if you were to write an email to a hunter and talk about soggy socks and you being out hunting one day and how you were so uncomfortable and you knew that you didn't want your sweat to you didn't want the deers to smell that sweat on your feet along with you being uncomfortable, and you had to stick your socks in bags and stuff like that and change your socks once you got to your blind. Talking like that and speaking their language is really important. So if you go and you find out about their secret desires, their frustrations, and what they hate about it, you're going to be 99% ahead of everybody else. How do I find this stuff out, right? So I'm going to tell you right now, my biggest source is message boards, not Facebook groups, message boards. The diehards that are in your niche are on a separate message board away from Facebook, talking about it, typing out and talking about their frustrations, their big wins, their big losses, what they hate about it, and pretty much everyday humdrum conversations, right? I want you to understand that there's a lot to go into those humdrum conversations, right? So where do they stand politically, right? Politics. This is important. How do you want to appeal to them, right? If they're liberals, then you can't go talking about the United States flag and you can't talk about, capitalism and things like that, right? If they're Republicans, on the other hand, you could talk about this you hate distribution of wealth and how lazy people are on the welfare, yada, yada, yada. I don't really care either way, but you need to be able to repel who you don't want as well. So if you talk about redistribution of wealth, then you know that you're going to piss off Republicans. Not a good idea because those are the guys with the money, but I'm just letting you know, right? So that's one way that you can find out, and how you can find that out is through their regular conversations. I follow Clayton Makepeace on Facebook, and he is a right wing dude. He has some of the best copywriting that you'll ever want from his real point of view, and he is my demographic. Clayton Makepeace is my demo. So of course I follow him on Facebook. Of course I listen to everything he says because I know how to talk to Clayton to get him to understand what I want him to understand, right? So my point being is follow these people, and the biggest thing you can do is talk to them on the phone. If you don't do this, you're losing out. Talk to them as much as you possibly can on the phone. Listen to them complain. Listen to them brag. People love talking about themselves. Just keep directing your questions and asking them more about themselves, and ask questions really slick about politics and about their family, and find out, do they teach their kids how to hunt, and how do they feel about these type of things, right? It could be anything. I'm just using hunting because, it's not my niche, but I'm just using it as an example. Find out about those things, and you can ask those questions on message boards. But getting on the phone with one of those guys and saying, hey, man, I want to interview one of my favorite hunters. On this board, you've been probably one of my favorite hunters, and my kid has a class project talking about hunting, and I also want to start teaching him more about hunting, and I really wish I could just have 30 minutes to get on the phone with him. Gold. I'm not going to say any more than that. I'm just like, if I could drop the mic right there, just imagine me dropping the fucking mic, all right? So, all right, so now that we've done that, right, before you do, if you notice that I haven't told you anything else, before you do anything, do your proper research, okay? If you don't do this, dude, just end this video right now. So the next thing that I did was I went to Zenio, right? So I'm in the, obviously I'm in the European Union, and I wasn't able to get any magazines from Barnes and Nobles. It was really a bummer, right? And so I was scrambling all weekend long to try to do something. So I even downloaded the digital versions, but it's not the same as having the actual printed publication. So what I did is I came here to Zenio. I found this. It was really cool because I wanted to pay with PayPal as well because I don't want somebody taking $10 a year out of my account, and I can't never get them to stop the subscription, yada yada yada. So what I did was I went on PayPal, and these people accept PayPal. What's really cool is, like, if you go here, let's go to Popular Mechanics, right? You should be able to have back issues. Go get 10 magazines in your niche, different magazines, and then go get a year's worth of back issues. It's really important that you do that part, and you'll see why in a second. So once I did that and I went and got those 10, because what you want to do once I go get those 10 issues and those back issues, what you want to do is you want to identify what is the market actually buying. And there's no way of finding that out until you actually look in the magazine and see who's putting out the cash to advertise in magazines. That's going to tell you a lot, because if they advertise over time and you start seeing the same products over time, that means that first of all, that the advertising and the copy works. That's number one. Second of all, the actual ad, they wouldn't have it in there unless they were selling shit. Okay, so that's really important for you to understand. So this is a really good way to go market first. Don't just go by your hunch, because now, if you had to guess what was selling in the Field and Stream magazine, for me, I swore it would be nothing but binoculars and hunting gear and camouflage shit. I swear, that's all I thought I was going to see. And I would have been wrong. Flashlights and this and that. I would have been 100% wrong on what's going on inside this magazine, right? So the first thing you see, obviously, is the good old Ford or Chevy truck. And that's, that's pretty... It still surprised me, though. Like, fuck, I forgot about trucks, right? And so as I started coming down here, obviously insurance came into play. If I'm going to sell trucks, I'm going to sell insurance. As a side note, man, she is the #1 influencer in insurance and the highest paid influencer. I think her name is Flo in insurance. The next thing I saw was shit like this How to Breathe Philips Simply Go Mini, right, for oxygen. I'm like, oh, shit. It really kind of just smashed me, man, on like really just like, how did I miss that, How come I didn't think of that? And so then as I came down in here, obviously the stuff that you expected was in here, but how about this commemorative rifle, right, with John Wayne on the cover, right, with the picture of John Wayne on it, right, engraved. But how about this old fashioned, straight up direct response ad, right? I really love this. Officially authorized by John Wayne Enterprises. Really, right? And so here it is right now. It's $195 per tribute is enclosed. I wish to pay the balance, blah, 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 of $100 a month. You actually have to pay monthly on this shit. Wow. So anyways, so I started looking more through the magazine, and I wanted to see what other things would sell. And like, even here, like, you just didn't think that, oh shit, this meat grinder would sell. This thing right here, this cyclone rake, is in every magazine ever, right? So if they have an affiliate program, this is the one to go with. And you see they have a free info kit, right? Which is your lead magnet. So I started looking through things like this. So the thing you want to do after you start looking through here, and I'll show you one of the biggest ads before I go. There's everything in here, like from supplements right here, right? Which really kind of freaked me out. You would think that all you were going to see is stuff like this, guns and shit like that. But it's just not true. It's a little 380 or whatever. But actually, there's only like 1 or 2 guns in the entire issue, right? So as you start to scroll through here, the one thing I noticed there was 2 ads for hearing aids, right? So if you see here on the side, there's jewelry for her in there. Here's a tub for older people that they can walk in instead of having to climb in the tub and bust their ass. That was smart. And then here is the advanced hearing aid technology for less than $200. Really kind of freaked me out. And another, like, you wouldn't think of these things, right? But here's the second ad for a different company in the same magazine, more expensive, right? But that lets you know that hearing aids or an affiliate program for a hearing aid will probably work, right? And look, why pay $2,300 or more? Hear better for only $4.99 each, right? 45 risk-free trial. Send no money now for qualified buyers. Right there, small, right? I love that. So, but what I really love about this is they're showing how small it is. Nancy told me that men really hate to have big devices in their ears, and they don't want to go in to a location, and they would prefer to do these type of things with a like mail delivery thing. So it makes sense that the people are advertising out. I think she worked for a guy like this before, and so she had this little insider information for me. So now I found an affiliate program that pays 15%. 15% on $1,000, man. Not too bad. And then how do you do this? Well, you have the ad right here. You have the ad, right? So how you would want to do this particular thing, I just want to show you really quickly before I go into that. I did find this Medicine Man hearing remedy right here on Max Bounty, right? That pays $35 a lead. And they have a proper thing here. So you could actually do that inside your emails once you build your list up. I also found this waterproof portable camping light because that was also in here. So I was looking for some free plus shipping offers, right? And so this is how it all gets started. So I saw this guy right here. And I was like, okay, I've seen it in a few magazines. This would be a good free plus shipping, okay? So we'll talk about that in a minute. So I did my research, but I did it from a market first standpoint. What are people buying? We know that they're buying these lights, right? So I went to go find. Now, I'm not saying to source yours from Alibaba. It was just easy to find them here. You want to source the best product, number one, and you might want to source it in the United States first, right? Because obviously the U.S. is getting with Trump and taxing the whole China thing. You don't know. Try to source in the United States. You might find yourself surprised to find that you can get competitive pricing from the U.S. or anywhere else. But I just came here to show you really quickly that I found what I wanted. It was comparable, right? Kind of looks the same. Throw your own logo on there. It does the whole USB charger for your phone. Works for 2.5 hours. Go on Amazon, do your research, find out what people hate about it, find out what people love about it, and change your copy. But the beautiful thing is that your copy is already here, right? You go find out what they're selling a benefit is. Now, they're calling this the guide, like a light for guides, the base camp lantern, right? But it's just a fucking solar light. That's all it is. But they actually named it something. You figured out whatever it is for your niche, name it something. Get an angle, but this is a perfect angle. Why wouldn't I use their angle, right? They've already did all the homework. They did the brute force. They tried to figure out how things are going to work, and here's exactly how I should do it, right? Model success, duplicate success. I also found that supplement, right? The red beetroot powder. So if I ever wanted to get into this, right, I went and found my products that I know are being advertised. Now let's talk about the funnel real quick because this is where everybody gets it mixed up. All right, so what I want to talk about really quickly is what a free plus shipping funnel should be. So what you should be doing with your free plus shipping funnel, let's put that here, free plus shipping, all right, is you shouldn't be trying to make any money. But what I noticed everybody was doing and selling everybody the bright, shiny object, the BSO, was they were like, yeah, go find an item on Alibaba, right, and mark it up plus, 100% and try to sell it. Well, I'm going to tell you something right now, man. Nobody's going to ignore the world's largest store. They're going to do their research. They're going to go to eBay, okay? They're going to go to Amazon, right? They're going to Google it, and they're going to look on YouTube, okay? They're going to do this, right? So don't think you're slick, and that's how you're going against the grain. You have to beat these prices, right? And the only way to do that is to break even on the product, okay? So what you want to do on your free plus shipping is just break even, okay? It took me a long time to understand this, and in your career, whatever you do, it's going to be right when you take action, and after you have some data, you'll go, now I get it. You can either try to understand it right now or you can wait, but it's totally up to you. But I'm telling you how you should build it. And this is $1 million funnel, right? $1 million. I promise you this is what's going to get you paid. Okay. So let's just say we had that camping light, our base camp light. Let's call that base camp. Let's just say we took our base camp light and we sent that out there. Get your free base camp light, right? Send no money. If you could do that, it would be awesome. If you could go in the rear and say, send no money now. Take it for the first 45 days, and if you don't like it, simply return it, right? That is the ultimate. Gary Halbert talks about that. That is the ultimate. Don't send me a dime, and you get up to a year to refund it. Right? And he says it, do you have the balls to do it, right? I don't have the balls to do that yet, right? I don't. But what you want to do is you want to be competitive, right? So if that light is selling for $19, $10 on Amazon, you just want to break even. So let's just say you get the light for $4, and let's just say you're paying $4 for shipping, right? You want to price that right at $9.95 for shipping, right? If you can, right? If it's possible, if I were you, I would go take a loss on that, okay? So if I were you, I would totally go in the rear on this and get my ship. I would do the whole thing for free plus shipping for $6.95. Why are you saying that, Sonny? You're going to take a loss on that? No, you're not. Because here comes your upsell. And on your upsell, you have to realize that 20%. Now, you do your own math. I'm not going to do it all right now, but I want you to do the math yourself. 20% of the people are going to take your upsell. And you just make sure your upsell takes care of this $1 loss or this $2 loss that you're going to take right here. All right. And so usually with your upsell with e-commerce, what's really cool is you can just sell more of the same, right? So here on your upsell, you can just say buy 3 for whatever the price is, right? So let's just say retail on this is $19.95, buy 3 for $25, and we'll pay the shipping. Right now, you're taking up the slack for this loss, right? So buy 3 for $24.95, or buy 7 for this price, or buy 10 for this price, and give them a discount on all the one. More than likely, people will take the 5 discount for whatever it is. The next thing, and here's where your real money comes in, is a continuity offer. Okay. Now, what is that continuity offer for you? I don't know, but here's where your real money rests. Okay. This is where it's gonna be, and all of this money is gonna pay for you to get people into this offer right here. When it comes down to this 20% right here, 12% of those people are going to take this offer right here, okay? And what you want to do is make this, $27, $29, whatever makes sense. It could be $97, whatever makes sense for your niche. And for instance, if it was a hunting niche, you could just simply do a 50% off club, to get off 50% off major brands every month, and you'll save money for non-advertised discounts. And you can easily set that up with any brand, okay? And that's like one of the easiest ones to do. The next one is, right now I've been seeing a big thing, for instance, in hunting, about this outdoors TV. People are paying because they want to see streaming of outdoor stuff when they want to see it all day, all night, right? But being able to talk to their influencers. So imagine you had a 30-minute interview with Bear Grylls and him talking about survival techniques and tips and tricks that he really uses, and you're talking to him directly, and he's speaking to the group, right? What would that be worth, right? Would it be worth $19.95 a month? Of course it would, to a hunter and somebody in your demographic, okay? So that's what you want to do, right? You want to build that continuity program up for $19.95. And that is your real free plus shipping funnel. This is $1 million funnel. Do the math. You might say to me, Sonny, your math doesn't add up. Well, make it work, right? Don't take what I'm showing you literal. What I want you to do is to make it work. What I want you to do is understand that free plus shipping, people are not stupid, right? So for that base camp lamp, $6.95, $4.95, people would say, yeah, the shipping should cost about that. Okay, I'll do it, right? But if you priced it, just put a 1 here at $16.95, you're going to lose. You're going to lose all day, right? Or if you got some little bitty pendant, right? I've seen dudes do this. A little pendant, right? A necklace right here. So this is a face and a smiley face, and somebody has a little pendant on. This is big, right? Nancy always gets on me about my fucking perspective, right? So this is a big pendant. All right, so anyways, they got a little pendant on their neck, right? A little bullshit necklace that probably weighs nothing. and they got $15.95 as the shipping on it. Nobody's going for that. That should be $1.95. I think people are not understanding that what the free plus shipping is a lead. That's what it is, man. The free plus shipping, you're going to pay for leads no matter what you do, okay? I need you to understand that. No matter what you do, you came here to look at it, I erased it. No matter what you do, you need to pay for your leads. So it's going to be $1 a lead or $1.20 or it's going to be $10. No matter what you do, you're never going to get free leads, no matter what you do. Because if you say, well, SEO, I get free leads. No, because your hours have to be counted. Unless you're just not ever paying yourself any dollars per hour. Well, I'm going to pay a VA. You still had to pay him. Break it down. You're paying for your leads. Well, Sonny, I only pay 80 cents for leads. That's fine. You only pay 80 cents for leads, but you have absolutely no control. Buy your leads, right? Speak their language. So to recap it off, what you're going to do is you're going to do your research and make sure that you speak their language. Talk to them, right? Find out what it is that they really want. So you can, then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to do a market research by going through magazines and going through a market research, and we're going to approach this from a market's perspective and find out what it is that they're purchasing. If you want to go from the magazines to then go ahead and look it on Amazon, that's fine. But I'm telling you now, you need to look through the magazines. Then go on Amazon and use Jungle Scout or some shit like that, right, to find out what are some of the high-ranking products and what are being sold. And then from there, we're going to start to build our two-step funnel, right? So it's basically free plus shipping. Okay. And then we're going to go to an upsell, and then we're going to go to continuity. Okay. And that's it, right? So now you're going to ask, maybe how can you advertise this? And that's really a little bit out of scope right now, but I'm just going to give you a quick little rundown of how you could possibly advertise this to make this work, right? So now what I would do, honestly, is I would send out like an editorial type thing. Like, let's just say, for instance, it was that light. Right. And I said this earlier and it kind of surprised the shit out of me. So, and it's actually a really good headline. Right. So, new revolutionary LED light takes the camping world by storm. Right. I'm just going to scribble right there. Okay. New LED technology takes the camping world by storm. Right. The light is so bright it's being banned in 2 states. Okay. So you add that in there, right? And do you think somebody that loves camping lights and loves shit like that would click on that? Of course they would, right? So then we go find an article or we get one written about this new technology, about these new LED lights, and they're out there. These new LED lights that put out so many lumens, and it came from those other flashlights that were real popular 3 years ago. So anyways, so then we do an article about that. But inside of that article, right, on your blog, we're going to do Johnson boxes right here. And on the side, here's your chance to win your own light. We're giving these away absolutely free. Just click here to get your own. That's exactly what you do. But obviously, not everybody's going to take you up on this idea. A certain amount of people, like 3 or 5%, are going to take you up on this idea. But now we have their data, and we build out a list, and we retarget them with the same offer once they've already been there and seen it. That is how you do a proper funnel, right? They need touches, they need value, right? And then you're going to put them, obviously, and I'll do this funnel for you guys in a couple of days. But obviously you're going to target those guys with emails with tons of value. And how can you do that, right? How is it possible to target people with tons of value and still, like, so you say, what is value, right? And I used to hate this myself. Blanketing the word value is bullshit, and I hate to say that. So what you should think about when I say value, when you're other gurus talking about value, it's just information that is very interesting to your demographic, right? So if you're talking about, let's just say, for instance, you target mechanics, okay? New revolutionary engine changes the world or whatever. Or Elon Musk said that the so-and-so gas motor is, going to be obsolete in 2 years, right? Or if you're talking to mechanics, find a new tool that I use to get out, crankshafts in 10 hours less. or whatever the case may be, but just articles that would really interest them. And how you know that is because you did the first step in this whole fucking funnel. You really know what's interesting to them once you sit down and you get into their heads, right? So I'll give you an example for a hunter, right? Because I know hunters like to teach their children to hunt, right? So at the same time, you can send out an article where you talk about, and you just write it out, the best way to teach your teenager how to hunt without freaking them out, right? How to teach your teenager how to field dress a whitetail buck without them throwing up or some shit like that. Or my story on how I taught they will click on that shit if they're hunters, man. I'm telling you. And if they're fishermen, I know for a fact with fishermen right now that they're teaching their daughters, and women are a big growing thing in fly fishing right now, right? So if you had an article where you're talking about my daughters and fly fishing, man, they're going to click on it, right? Because fishermen love teaching their children and going fishing with their children and being on the outdoors with them and connecting with them on a different level. How do I know that? Because I'm a fucking fisherman. But not only that, I did my homework, right? So that's what's really important. And that's what value is. So how do you get out of value? Because all I thought about was, because I'm talking about marketing to people, how can I give value in fishing? Or how can I give value in hunting or survival or whatever I want to do? Or how can I give value to mechanics? Talk about the shit that interests them and keep sending them emails and talking to them in their own language. And then they trust you. They know you. They like you. Send those series of emails and then hit them with that damn light. I promise you that they're going to dig it. All right, man, if you like this video, man, comment below. Let me know you dug the value. I'm kind of going back old school with this shit because this is what makes me more comfortable, and I love delivering value to you guys. And this is why I started this shit. So I'm kind of getting back to it. If you like it and you dig it, click that thumbs up, man. If you're new to the channel, I promise you, man, I deliver tons of value like this all the time. You might want to think about hitting that subscribe button, man. I do want to tell you this, though, before I leave, man. If you're going to do an e-commerce funnel, marketing, or anything you're going to do, if you want to be successful in it, it is an everyday thing, man. There are no excuses. There are absolutely no explanations. Let's get it done.